So today, excuse the state of me, I haven't had a shower in too long because I've not been feeling too good. I've been just absolutely exhausted. I've never felt as tired in my life. I figured that if I'm showing you what it's like to live with a neo-bladder, then you should probably see what it's like to flush it out and things like that. So this is my night drainage bag that the hospital gave me. So this quite easily just attaches to my stent bag. Now the stent bag is basically just a urostomy pouch. So you just clip it on, turn that round so that you can see the little gold mark that shows that urine is going to drain through it. Make sure when you take it off that you always turn that round. I found that out the hard way. I forgot once and peed down my own leg. It's not great. So that's handy. Also for if you're going on long car journeys, because obviously we drink a lot more with a neo-bladder. And from going from drinking less than a litre a day throughout my life to having to drink over 2 litres has been really difficult. So bladder washouts, I'm afraid. I will show you what's going on. So I have the stents. They drain into the bag. I have the suprapubic catheter that drains into a leg bag, and the Mitrophanoff, which also drains into another leg bag. Now the Mitrophanoff goes through my belly button. You will find that if you have a Mitrophanoff anyway, it leaks. It's very mucousy, it's pretty gross. So what I do is whenever I empty my bag, my cat is shouting for breakfast, I wipe out the mucus to try and keep it clean. Now, I did have a stitch here holding in the Mitrophanoff. There are also 2 more stitches here and here, and then taping it down to try and keep it in place. You do not want those stitches to go. Unfortunately, that stitch ended up getting infected and it started to rip out, and it hurt a lot. So I phoned the diversion nurses and they did say that it was okay to cut it off. So that's what I did, because every movement I made pulled. Now, when you leave the hospital, you will be given a jug, a couple of jugs, and some syringes. Now they go up to 60 ml. The problem I've had is that I haven't been able to flush it as much as I need to. So originally you're supposed to start with 50 ml and flush it that way, but because of the issues that I've had, I've only been flushing it with 30 ml. Now you will be given a bottle of saline, and when that is empty, then you can make your own with a teaspoon of salt and a litre of boiling water. Obviously make sure it cools down before you use it. So it's fairly simple. You will also be given some clamps. Now I do have 2, but I don't know where the other one's gone, and it's fairly easy. So I always start with the Mitrophanoff because that one seems to drain better. So clamp down on the suprapubic. Now unplug these, so just push it with your fingers up until it comes out. Now you will notice that sometimes after you've done that, it will drain a little bit into the bag, so be careful not to let that flop over. So we'll just syringe out 30 ml or 50 depending on. You push it in, and push it in slowly. You don't want to do it too quickly, especially if the water's cold like it is right now. Leave about 5 ml in and then pull it back. Now, my first one never pulls back totally. It comes out pretty gross, so I do apologise, but if you can see in there, it has mucus in the bottom. That is normal. Now, watch when you pull it back because sometimes it leaks. So just syringe that into the toilet and do it again. And pull it back. Dribble. As you can see in this one, there's a lot less mucus. And so, go away. And then you do it again. Back. Now it's not pulling back now, so I'm going to stop doing that one. I'm going to dribble out. I was told not to worry if it doesn't keep pulling back, as long as it pulls back some, but then once it stops, move the catheter around, because sometimes just moving it makes it come out a bit more. But sometimes it will stop flushing, as long as it's still flushing some and that there's no blockage, there's still urine coming out, then it's not a problem. So then I'm going to take the clamp off of the suprapubic and put it on the Metrophenoff. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now this side for me, always push with your fingers, it does help. And it stops you from getting sprayed with urine. Make sure you use your clamps. I have found with my suprapubic it rarely pulls back. So the first one I put in tends to go into the bladder, the near bladder, and just sit in there. It doesn't really tend to pull back on the first one. No. But then the second one tends to. Also dribbles. Sometimes if you squeeze it a bit, it might just be a bit of mucus in there. Obviously the near bladder is made from the bowel, so it is going to be mucousy. No, still not wanting to pull back, so I'm going to try one more, and if this doesn't work, then I'm not going to pull it back. I'm just going to put the leg back on, and then it will drain through there. So the last one, it feels quite strange. You can feel it on the inside. No, don't want to pull back at all. Now my Metrophenoff, my suprapubic has never really pulled back, so it's never been an issue. You will find sometimes that you have blood in your leg bags. I was told again that that is normal. Doesn't want to pull back, but it'll let the liquid out. Yeah, I had a bit of a panic because there was blood in my suprapubic. The other thing I will say with these is make sure you push them down as far as you possibly can, because sometimes if you don't, they come off and you don't want that. So I've taken the clamps out now, and so the liquid will drain down into my leg bags. Now I have nets on my leg bags to keep my bags in place, because I found the what do we call them? The bits of stretchy fabric to hold them in place didn't really work for me. They were quite uncomfortable and they moved quite a lot, so I found the nets to be more helpful. My scar is healing well. obviously the scar goes quite far down. It is healing. It does look quite strange. Have had quite a big breakdown over that because my body feels quite weird. With leg bags as well, I will say, always make sure to try and tuck the valve, the catch, whatever you want to call it, under, because sometimes it can catch on your clothes and open. And again, you don't really want to pee down your own leg. My cat is currently trying to get into my medicine bag because she's a weirdo. And the other one's still shouting for food. So yeah, you will flush twice a day, morning and night. It's a pain, and sometimes you really don't feel up to it. They start you doing it a few days after surgery. So the nurses, urinary diversion nurses, will come around and show you how to do it, and then you'll start practicing yourself. So you won't leave the hospital before you can flush it out. It's fairly easy to do. It's not time consuming. It does only take maybe 10 minutes max, but you just keep flushing until it comes clear or until it stops flushing back out. Recovery is really difficult. It is a lot harder than I thought it would be, and I have struggled a lot more than I thought I would, considering I was quite a fit and healthy person before. I tried to exercise a lot, etc., etc. It's still been very, very difficult. I did lose 1.5 stone in hospital. I'm sure I'm putting that on quite quickly though. It's difficult, but it's doable. Just be expected that you are going to be absolutely exhausted for a long time afterwards. I was expecting that after a few weeks I'd be absolutely fine, because why not? It's done. Not fine. It is really hard. I find it too hard to stand up in the shower at the moment, so I'm going to attempt to shower today, which is going to knock me for 6 again, but needs must. Anyway, I hope this helps anyone. If it doesn't, sorry. Alright, have a good day. Thank you, bye.